What's up, everybody? Welcome to Off the Rails, a recovery podcast dedicated to ending the stigma of addiction through open discussion on all things recovery related. My name is Mark.
I'm Jared.
I'm Dave. And today we are super pumped to have our first guest on, Brandon. We met him, all three of us met Brandon at Newgate. And we thought he was a bright young man and had a cool story. And so we're super excited to have him be our first guest on Off the Rails. So no further ado, we'll roll it over to Brandon to tell us, give us his story.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me on. It's a pleasure. So you just want me to start with my life story, I guess?
Yes, man. What was it like for you growing up? Tell us a bit about your family and yourself.
All right, so yeah, my childhood. So I had a pretty good childhood. Played rep hockey my whole life. Was given everything that I kind of needed by my parents. I was very fortunate and grateful for that. They did a lot for me growing up without any questions, and I was blessed that way. Very thankful for all that they've done for me. I've had like 8 ear surgeries. I've kind of been affected by poor hearing in my life. Went to Christian grade school and high school growing up. Didn't enjoy the school aspect of it at all. And then grade 7, I was diagnosed with ADD. School became a bit easier for me, but I just still didn't enjoy school whatsoever. Just enjoyed being outside, whether it was playing road hockey or playing in the dirt in the field, stuff like that. Family life was great. Super close with my family first, and then my extended family as well. Growing up, we attended church. Both my sisters did cheerleading and gymnastics. So a lot of the nights they weren't home throughout the week, so it was just me and my dad kind of hanging out. He took me to my hockey games and usually was a coach on the team, so that was kind of nice. So I have 2 younger sisters. One is Sarah's 21. She's currently 4th year Brock University studying kinesiology. Yeah, she wants to go back to school next year, or either back to school or go back to like work for a year in the field that she's kind of studying right now. She was a national gymnast growing up. And then in grade 11, she switched to cheerleading and has 2 world medals in cheerleading.
Nice.
And then wild.
Yeah. And then my other younger sister, Abby, she's 17. She's in grade 12. Abby was a provincial level gymnast until grade 4. Then she found her passion in all-star cheerleading. She competed in cheerleading up until she was in grade 12, as she tore both her ACLs and needed surgery 2 years apart for them. She also competed at Worlds with her cheerleading team. Yeah, they both cheerleaded in Oakville for Cheer Force Wolfpack. She's applied to multiple schools for paramedics right now, and she's just because that's what she sees herself doing in her future. She's waiting on those responses from those schools. I was born and raised in the Holland Marsh, which is a small farming community north of Toronto. My grandparents immigrated to Canada from Holland. My grandpa, when he first immigrated here, his family was went to my immigration station, like place in Toronto. They kind of hooked up with this Dutch guy there because that's the only person they could really communicate with. He knew that there was a guy in the Holland Marsh looking for workers. So my dad and his big family, I think he's got 8 brothers and 2 sisters or something like that. 12, I think there's 12 siblings in total. They went down there. My grandpa worked for another farmer until 1974 when he purchased his own farm here. My dad now owns the farm now. We have 140 acres. We grow carrots, onions, and red beets.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Biggest carrot I've ever seen. Let me tell you.
So I hopefully I can continue the legacy there and take over that farm one day. So life events that contributed to who I was today. think being a part of the hockey teams throughout the years has definitely taught me a lot in life about communication, teamwork, work ethic, and also listening skills. But working alongside my two role models, who are my dad and my grandfather, I've learned so much from them. Watching them on the farm, seeing how hard they work, how much they love what they do, has grown my passion for farming a lot. Yeah, and I hope one day I can take over my grandpa's legacy that he kind of created here, buy the farm from my dad, and continue it into a third generation farm. And maybe one day when I have children, my son or daughter will want to do the same thing.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah. So during it, I was talking about my addiction now. So my first time using cocaine, I was 18. It was at a bonfire for a hockey team I was playing on. Thought it would be cool to try it. I wasn't pressured into doing it, so I did it on my own will. I just remember the guy who had it saying to me, "Don't ever buy your own bag because you'll become hooked." And at the time, I didn't really understand what he meant by that because I didn't know how addicting cocaine could be. But he was right. It wasn't until the following year I started playing junior C hockey. A couple guys on the team did it, so I began to start doing it more regularly to the point where I started buying my own stuff. It's kind of like cigarettes. You never want to be the guy asking for a smoke so you eventually just buy your own pack. Um, During that year of hockey, I only really used on during parties or nights with the boys. And then the season ended and it came in summertime and I continued to do it. Started isolating myself, stopped doing the things I kind of love doing because all I wanted to do was just get high. Work started to slip. I began not showing up. And I was constantly frustrated.
So, Brandon, at this point, are you working on the farm?
Yeah, I'm back on the farm now with my dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, at that time, me and my dad decided to part our ways with each other. We decided it would be best for both of us. Just our relationship wasn't going very well. We were just kind of more arguments than solutions, I guess you would say. So I decided to go work for another farmer in the marsh. This killed me to do this. I didn't see the benefits of it at the time. I All I wanted to do was work on like my dad and grandpa's farm. So my grandpa stopped talking to me for probably 8 months after this happened, and that was probably the toughest part for me. Was just not like just showing up to his house and him not even really acknowledge me, or him showing up to the farm and saying good morning to him and he wouldn't even acknowledge that I was in the room, kind of thing.
And sorry, at this point, did your parents or your grandfather know anything that's going on with the drug use, or they just
No, they didn't know about that yet. They didn't really know what was happening. They didn't know that I was using the amount that I was using. They didn't know the substance that I was using. They just thought that I drank and smoked weed occasionally. They didn't know that I was using cocaine regularly.
Do you think they had their suspicions?
I think they knew something was going on. I mean, I had the ear problems at the time, so I kind of blamed it on that ear problems. Like I was in pain with the pressure of the weather. Kind of hit it. I didn't really want them to know. I was embarrassed and felt guilty.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know what they were gonna think about it, kind of thing.
So at this point, do you know that you have a problem?
My friends kind of started mentioning it to me that like, hey, you kind of got to start watching what you're doing. Like it's kind of getting out of control.
Yeah.
I didn't really think I had a problem at this time, but I knew that I don't know. I just thought it was a fun kind of thing. I didn't really see it as I wasn't really aware how bad it really was.
Yeah.
Was it starting to take over your life at that point?
Yeah, it was. It was. Looking back on it now and realizing, like I realized now that yeah, I was full blown in addiction then. I couldn't do anything in life. I couldn't even, like, I was ignoring friends' text messages of them wanting to go hang out, stop going to hockey games. Ended up quitting hockey because I blamed it on my ears, but I was just so addicted and so isolated that that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think that you were kind of depressed too?
yeah, for sure. For sure. I think my friends started kind of setting boundaries. They stopped, ended up getting to the point where they stopped like messaging me to do things. I thought everyone was against me. Um, it I thought they didn't care, like they didn't know what I was going through, but I didn't explain to them what I was going through either. So yeah, the depression definitely got worse and worse throughout that.
Did you find yourself kind of self-medicating for the depression? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
right? And
I thought it
it's
was
kind of like a
helping.
vicious cycle, hey?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So at this point, you're working on another farm. Your grandfather's not really speaking with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so my using got worse at this point. When that all happened, I was just so upset and mad with what was happening, and no one knew at this time what I was really going through. And my parents found out about my using of my DOC in December of 2020. I kind of just spilled the beans. Well, my dad kind of just said to me, he goes, "You think you're using cocaine?" And I was like, I just got to the point where I needed to tell them, like I was just so, I don't even know how to explain it, like so just down and in the dumps that I was just like, it was time to tell someone that I was what I was going through. So I told them in December 2020, and then in March of 2021, I tried doing a 90-day outpatient program. I didn't really understand what it kind of was. I didn't know that you had to stay sober after the 90 days. So on the 91st day, I went out with the boys and started basically drinking and smoking weed again. It was like kind of like, hey, I made it through the 90 days. Let's 91st day, let's go celebrate. Um, I didn't talk to my counselor at the time about what I was planning on doing. So I thought it was okay. And it wasn't long after a couple months, probably not even a couple months. I'd say maybe a month. I started using cocaine again. Um, Basically back to the same amount that I was using before the 90 days. Um, was now basically living paycheck to paycheck. Once I used all the money that I had from that paycheck on coke, then I would just basically stress and worry how I'm going to make it through these 2 weeks. And then once the next paycheck came, it was the same thing again. And it was just like, okay, this is going to be the last paycheck. Like this is the last one I'm going to be doing this for. And then it just continually like, kept on happening. Then October 28th, 2021, I don't really know what came across me, but I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I knew things had to change. I wanted to kind of start thinking about my future of taking over the farm, and I had no financial support towards that whatsoever because of this addiction. So I called my uncle, told him what was going on and what I was going through, and he called his good friend Jim Thompson. And within an hour, Jim was at my house, and he was going to drive me to rehab. And I started packing my bags from Newgate 180.
You did not pack. You did not pack any socks, though. Is that correct?
Forgot your
Yeah, I
socks.
forgot fucking socks.
Couldn't have packed more.
My boy Mark over there had to give me a couple pairs. But yeah, I guess I didn't really pack my bags. I just threw a bag together.
You look a whole lot. Sorry, my daughter's in the room here.
It's all good, buddy.
It's all good.
You look a lot different than when you first came into Newgate.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I remember that first day. I was rough that first day.
Yeah.
I remember my parents. They came and dropped me off clothes because I didn't bring enough. So they came probably, I think, 2 weeks later, or maybe a week later. And they were like, yeah, we're gonna leave at 8 in the morning. And I was like, okay, I'll call you around 10. Maybe you should be close. So I called them at 10. I was like, yeah, you guys should be here in probably like an hour or so. Like, Brandon, you know the drive's like 4.5 hours, right? Because the drive on the day that I went there, I was so out of it. I thought it was a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
So, how did my using started to affect my family and friends? Once my using became a problem, I think my family noticed. They started questioning me a lot more. My whole life started becoming a lie. I was lying to them every day. I could see their frustration towards me, like with the getting to work and stuff was still an issue. Um, like I talked about before, my friends started setting their boundaries and began to stop inviting me out places because they knew what I was doing, and I was just cocaine almost every day. And two, they didn't think I even would want to come because I was isolated so much that I never ever wanted to do anything. My answer was always an excuse of why I couldn't come. It affected my relationship. I had a 4-year relationship with an amazing girl. She knew what I was going through and tried to help me as much as she possibly could. She wanted me to change my habits for so long, but I didn't think I could at the time. I didn't really believe in myself. I didn't think I was capable of changing. I just didn't see any hope in that. She ended up leaving me in September of 2021. She realized that I wasn't someone that she could live with if I was living the way that I was living. I didn't have much care for anything. I don't blame her at all for the decision she made because that must have been tough for her to go through. All of that supporting me daily, hoping that I would eventually realize the stuff that I was doing was wrong. And then not seeing very little change in me constantly, it would have been very defeating for her and sad for her too. So I mean, I don't blame her for the decision. And who knows, I might have not went and got help if she didn't make that decision to leave, right? So it affected my physical health. So right now I'm 210 pounds healthy. During my active addiction, I weighed 145 pounds. My physical health was declining rapidly. Didn't have any self-care. I didn't really care about myself. Some nights I'd go to bed and I would hope that I wouldn't wake up. After my friends stopped talking to me, I became extremely depressed and isolated myself even more because I thought that everyone was against me. And they didn't understand the demons that I had inside of me at the time. Mentally, I lost hope in myself being successful in life. Thought there was no possible way I would ever get back to like what I was before I started using. I didn't ever think was able or capable of doing that. And I began to think that everyone was against me and that no one liked me, no one supported me if I told them what I was going through. Yeah, that's kind of my story of my active addiction, how it affected me.
How are you doing now?
I'm doing great now. I'm very confident in myself now. I know things are going to come slowly, and it's going to take time, but I have a lot more confidence in myself, knowing that sober life is an extremely better life. It's a lot healthier. Care about myself more. Just everything in life is way more enjoyable this way, I find.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot less stressful.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Brandon, you mentioned you did the 90-day outpatient program.
Yeah.
How did you compare that to the 30-day like intensive intake program that Newgate offers?
The 90-day, there wasn't really anything to it. You didn't really learn anything about yourself, what you were going through. Like I talked to a counselor once a week, and that was about it. I did an an all male group on Monday nights. It was like kind of young guys in early recovery. It was a Zoom call. And other than that, that was about it. It was just kind of white knuckling it, getting through the 90 days. And I didn't really understand what it meant. I thought it was just 90 days. And after 90 days, I was cured and I could go back to doing what I was doing before. So comparing it to the 30 days, the 30 days is an unbelievable experience. Sorry. Like you learn so much about so many different things in your life. You're constantly busy, you're constantly learning, which I found life changing. It really sets yourself up better for life after the 30-day inpatient program. Whereas the 90 days, there was no, I didn't really, wasn't really set up for anything after the 90 days, like what I'm kind of saying. Whereas the 30 days, the whole time they're kind of just preparing you daily for the life outside of Newgate.
Hey, what do you find? What do you find working for you the best? That you're doing in your daily life now. Are you big on meditation now? Are you journaling every day, or are you? What have you been finding beneficial for your recovery?
Well, I'm 86 days sober today. What I what I find works during my recovery, yeah, journaling is a big thing for me. I got this addiction recovery journal. It's awesome. It just kind of has questions, gives you a question each day, and you just kind of answer the question. I find it easier for me that way to journal that way.
Where'd you get that from? Just online, or?
Yeah, it's on Amazon here. I got it over here. 1 second.
Look at that nice shirt he's got on today.
Yeah, he's looking sharp today.
He looks like a whole different
businessman.
So yeah, it's just like this. I don't know if you're gonna put the video out, but like just the recovery journal.
Yeah, cool.
Got questions in it. So like today's question is, write down at least 7 reasons why your addictive behavior is irrational.
Okay, cool.
So it kind of just keeps your mind working, learn more about yourself too daily, different ways to do things, which I find is beneficial for me.
That's a good idea, because I kind of struggle keeping up with the journaling or even doing it daily. So, but I think if you had questions like that to answer, that might actually help. So I might check that out.
Yeah, no, it works really well, because I was the same way. Like I just like journaling my thoughts daily. It kind of got to the point where it was kind of not a hassle, but I was like kind of dreading doing it, because I don't know, that was just me. But some days when I have like something heavy or lots of thoughts on my mind, I do go back to my old journal and I journal those thoughts down. But on days where I have a pretty good day, I just answer some questions in that book, and it helps me too. Yeah, I'm doing a self-care workbook. Go through that right now, or not self-care, sorry, self-esteem workbook. That was something I struggled with going into Newgate, was my self-esteem. So I'm working on through that booklet still. I go to 2 meetings a week. Call my sponsor whenever I start to have negative thought patterns. So he's there any day of the week I need him, anytime. You just give him a call when I'm going through something and I just need someone to talk to. And just like doing some leisure activities, things that I used to enjoy before my addiction, that I'm kind of trying to get back in my life, like ice fishing and skating on the outdoor rink. Definitely helps me, just releasing those negative thoughts and emotions and just getting back to doing the things that I love the most. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. I don't really have a home group right now for meetings. I just attend a Tuesday CA meeting at 7:05 in Barrie, Ontario. Every week. It's amazing. The people are there are really welcoming and supporting. So it's kind of very comfortable for me to go there. Then I usually do a Zoom meeting on Thursdays. The group's called No Coke and a Toba Coke. So,
That's pretty dope.
That's
yeah, it's a good one. And then my support system, I have a very big support system. I mean, my parents and my sisters are a huge part of it. My uncle Scott is definitely a huge part of it as well. He was a year sober on January 17th. So we're kind of bouncing off each other, kind of going through it with each other, which is kind of nice to have someone like that. And my sponsor, Jim Thompson, has been a huge part of my sobriety as well. Just getting me to Newgate has helped. And then him being there for me after Newgate has helped me a lot too. The biggest thing I was worried about going to rehab was my extended family is I just wasn't sure how they were gonna think of me after, just for different reasons. And but I mean, I found out quickly that my whole extended family has given me nothing but support through this whole journey. When I was even in rehab and then coming back out, they're just very proud of me and happy that I asked and went out and got the help that I needed. So I'm very grateful and blessed for all those people in my life. They mean so much to me, and I can't thank them enough for all they've done.
That's like one thing that I was most scared about too is, oh, what's people at work gonna think, or what's my
Yeah.
friends gonna think, or what's like everyone gonna think. I haven't really broadcasted it that I went to rehab, but I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks as long as I'm happy and my family's healthy and I'm healthy. And yeah,
and
doesn't
anyone
it
who
doesn't really,
matters is going to be supportive.
No,
yeah.
exactly. And that's what my dad said. He goes, the more people that know about it, the more people that are going to support him. So
And
that's
maybe it'll help other people too that are struggling. So
Absolutely.
yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Brandon, you mentioned how you're clearly close with your family and the strain that addiction put on yours and your relationship with your family. So in your time of recovery, have you been able to rebuild those relationships?
Yes, for sure. Like my sisters now say that they have their brother back, which is really nice to hear. Um, I mean, the trust is going to come with time. I mean, I broke a lot of trust during my addiction,
Yeah.
so that's going to come over time. I just need to continue doing what I'm doing with my on my recovery plan and just continue to show them through actions that I am committed to this, and that trust will come back slowly. Um, but yeah, like I know my parents see a difference in me. My family, even when I went to Christmas to my grandparents' house, my grandma even said like he's smiling again, he's happy, and it's just so nice to see me like that, which is awesome to hear. For me, I get like from my part. Um, so yeah, they definitely do notice a difference.
Do you find if you have like a bad day or if you don't smile enough, your family's on high alert and they think something fucked up
Yeah,
or something fucked up is up?
exactly. Like I had it last night. I went to the rink, like to the bar beside my house to skate by myself. Mom's like, "You're going alone?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go alone. Like, I'm just gonna go skate by myself. There's no one around." And then I came back home. I went right to my room. She goes, "Why did you just come back from the bar and go right to your room?" And I was just bringing my water bottle and a bag of spits down, and I had to carry my laptop so I could prepare for this today. And I just didn't have enough hands, so I just wanted to bring the water bottle and the spits down first, and it was just stuff like that. But I mean, they have their triggers too, the stuff that affected them. So I
Yeah,
just kind of
they're
respect
definitely
that.
scared too.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you
Yeah.
mentioned, you got to rebuild that trust, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because they have feelings too. They went through stuff as well. That yeah.
And probably a lot more than you really know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned those hard days, Jared. Brandon, is there something or someone that you use that to kind of motivate you to get through those hard days?
Um, I mean, I got this app. I got an app. It's called I Am, And it just gives me, I think, like affirmations every hour. It pops up a notification on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Those help a lot for me. Just kind of, they're very relevant, and just it's nice to just read it out loud when it has happened. But also communicating, I communicate to my dad a lot, or my mom, just like what I'm going through. If I'm having a bad day, I'm just telling them what I'm going through, because they don't know what's going on in my side of my head. So um, if they can help in any way, and if me telling them how I'm feeling helps them know what I'm going through, I mean, it's a win-win. So kind of just expressing those feelings when I'm having a bad day. But also think about the positives too, because there's always positives in everything.
I like that. That's awesome. What's being a young guy coming home, obviously seems like your home life's pretty good now, and you're working on things, friendships that were, you had before and things like that. How's that balance been? If you had people reach out to you, I don't know how it is for you. I haven't had anyone yet, but I'm sure it'll happen eventually too, with like maybe someone that's been struggling themselves that almost lean on you a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, the guys from hockey I used to hang out with, I don't talk with them anymore. I haven't for a while now. That was even before I went to rehab. So, but my like childhood friends, they are very grateful what I did and happy that I went and got the help I needed. So I've connected with them a couple times. It's just hard. Like they still drink it and smoke weed, so it's hard in that way, because I kind of got to do it at a safe place where I see them. Because I can't have it where I say I go there with a negative thought pattern, and they're drinking and smoking, and the next thing you know, I'm having a beer. Like I can't do that. So it's just kind of finding a safe place to go and see them is the big part right now. Um, and then yeah, a guy that I used to play minor hockey with, he reached out to my parents. His parents heard that I went to rehab. He was struggling too. So they reached out to my parents. My parents gave them Jim Thompson's number. Jim also brought him to Newgate, and he came home on the 5th of January. So proud of him for what he did. And now I have kind of a person to hang around with and go to meetings with. So that's kind of been nice too.
Oh, that's
Question
awesome.
I am dying to know the answer to is: are you back on the farm?
Am I back on the farm?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back on the farm.
Perfect, man.
Yeah, I took probably 2 weeks off after I got back from rehab. Just kind of get the routine that I created at Newgate kind of incorporated into my life back here. Just ways that work for me. And then I started work, and I was only working till probably around 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And then I would go and kind of do some more recovery things. And then about probably 2 weeks ago, I started full time again.
Were you sore? Because I was so sore for like the first 2 months I was back to work.
Sore?
Yeah.
I was exhausted. I found.
Yeah.
I found that the transition from Newgate back home was worse than the transition from home to Newgate.
Yeah. I didn't want to leave Newgate personally.
No, me neither. I miss the food there, man.
Yeah, if it was
Yeah, it
delicious.
was pretty good.
You miss your late night Milanos.
Yeah, I wasn't eating very well there at some points.
Oh man, that day I ate so much I puked. Wow.
I just couldn't believe how fast yogurts went through that place.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. They're hot commodity.
Yeah, they were. They're hot.
So Brandon, what does the future hold for you? What are your aspirations, man?
Well, I hope to take over my dad's farm. Just learn more about farming. I also love to start helping my uncle. He's an agent for prospects, hockey prospects. So I've been out with him to a couple tournaments, kind of looking at some of his clients that he has, trying to find more clients than that. So I'm kind of gaining interest in that as well. But my main goal is just to kind of learn more about the farm. Yeah, taking all the information I can from my grandpa while he's still around, and just keep on learning from my dad. They're both very knowledgeable in what they do. So yeah, just hopefully one day take over the farm. That's the plan.
Well, you look like you're killing it so far.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that is awesome, man. Congratulations. And you should be very proud of yourself.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Brandon, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for doing this with us too.
No problem.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being a guest. And if we don't have any more questions for Brandon, I'll take us out. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on our podcast, hit us up in our contact information below.